are listening to the Blue 82 podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 podcast. I am your host, Craig, with my co-host, as always, Nicholas. And this is episode 23. Yeah, 23. Wild Card Weekend recap. It was quite a weekend. This will probably be a somewhat short episode. Me and Nick were talking about it, and we're just gonna try to, during playoffs, just stick to talking about playoff teams like we said last episode, and just keep that rolling. And then once off season after Super Bowl hits, we'll dive into a lot of stuff. But for now, we're just gonna keep it short and sweet on the playoffs and keep focused on that. But before we get into it too much, we just want to say thanks for all the support as always. I know, like I said last week, we've kind of been off schedule here and there, but we're back to the schedule now, so we're chilling. It was an exciting week of football, Nick. There was not a lot of games, but you look at a few of the games and you're like, you could have almost easily picked a winner, right? But they ended up being close games. Granted,
could have been 3 upsets?
Yeah,
off the top of my head, the Dolphins, the Jags, and then the Giants.
Yeah, and you could even say the Ravens, that was almost a game too. So
I got close to.
Yeah, a lot of the games that we didn't expect to be this close. Granted, it's playoffs; the games are always close. You typically don't have blowouts. But it was just exciting. You know what I mean? I was looking into this week and I was like, dude, this might be a shitty week of football, but it turned out to be a good one. Like I said, we'll break that down, get into that. Let's see. News, injuries, anything like that. I don't know if I have much, just because, again, everybody's just focusing on, playoff teams, so we're not really hearing anything about anything else, so it's kind of short and sweet. What is it? Bengals left tackle Jonah Williams suffered what is believed to be a dislocated kneecap. They're saying that's week to week, so that could be kind of a big loss for them. Burrow was kind of getting sacked a little bit more than he has all year, I feel like. So that'll be something to look into. As far as any other injuries, I don't know if I see any at the moment. Oh, I think the Giants lost somebody, or not lost somebody, but he got hurt in that game as well. I think it was one of their linebackers, maybe.
It was Thibodeau, but he ended up going back in.
Okay.
I think. Is that what you're thinking of?
I don't know.
He had someone step on his fingers.
I saw it while the game was going on, and I forgot the guy's name.
That's the one I can think of. Was Thibodeau got stepped on, and then he ended up getting taped on the sideline and went back in.
Azeez Ojulari was ruled out the game with a quad injury. That guy, yeah.
They said he got a knee to the quad or something like that.
Yeah. But it sounded like he was walking without much of a limp post-game, so that's a good sign. I haven't heard anything yet from it. Granted, games were just played yesterday, so we only have very, very, early indications of what's going to happen as far as injuries go, just because it's only Monday. Other than that, I don't have much news. There's a couple things we'll talk about when the games come up, but yeah, I guess we can dive on into the recap, Nick.
Alrighty.
Let's see.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. What do we got? What do we got first?
Kicking it off with the Seahawks and the 49ers here. I mean, I feel like this game did not start out probably as expected, but finished as expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It started out pretty close, but then Geno Smith kind of had a little bit of a meltdown. He threw his pick. He had his fumble, kind of turned the game on its head right there. And then, the 49ers coming out in the second half just hit the shift in the next gear there. And just ran it with the game, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this game was exciting because the Seahawks kept fighting. They played their hearts out in the first half, and then it's second half, and almost like they they used it all too quick. You know what I mean? Like, they ran out of juice. I don't know. It just...
I will say this though, the Seahawks do have a nice team on paper.
No,
like,
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it last week too. Like I like their weapons. Like you got a young running back with Kenneth Walker. I think DK Metcalf's probably what 24, 25. So like,
yeah,
he's
he's still young.
And then Tyler Lockett is maybe on his late 20s, maybe early 30s, something like that.
I think
so. It's like you got some nice pieces there. It's just oh, and they got that tight end from the Broncos.
Noah Fant.
What's his name? Yeah. So it's like you got some nice pieces. It's just a matter of what they want to do with the quarterback position. Are they gonna draft someone? Are they gonna re-sign Geno? Draft someone and re-sign Geno? You never know, right?
Yeah, that's. I was gonna get into asking you about that situation on what you would do.
I think personally, like Geno, like they were talking about Geno. Their broadcast I remember talking about said Geno said it was a business decision. I think business wasn't good. I think I don't trust Geno. Like I'm not someone that buys into all the hype of these players. So like 1 year, you know what I mean?
I mean, if you look at
like,
his like stats and how he's performed in the back half of the year, Nick, and in the playoff game, he kind of turned into the Geno we've seen previously. Like
like he started out like a MVP. People had him as MVP, comeback player of the year type player, and then so he's like he almost just cooled off, and like that was really like the hype just died down and everything like about it. Like that's the thing to me. Like I don't really buy the hype on like 1 year. Like why am I paying this guy $30 million because he had one good year and is like 10-8 whatever it is year. You know what I mean?
And I
it's
think
the same thing that the Giants got to decide when it comes to Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. You're gonna pay them that fucking kind of money for 1 year, or do they work out a 1 year deal, 2 year deal type of thing?
I think the thing, in my eyes, the thing with Geno, and I don't know where his head's at. I know he did come out and say that he wanted to retire as a Seahawk. Granted, I don't know how many years. I don't know how many more years that is. And I don't know what kind of money Geno's expecting after this year, because you hope to God it's not like $30 million, right? A year. You hope.
I have no doubt in my mind it's probably going to be at least 25 mil.
Yeah. See, if I'm the Seahawks.
To be a starting quarterback, like, and for me personally, I'm not paying it. I'm not sure about you, but I wouldn't pay it.
If I'm the Seahawks, I'm walking up to Geno and I'm saying, look, I'll give you 2 years, 30 million, 15 mil a year. Not a bad contract. You know what I mean? That's more than you're making as a backup. And then I would draft, maybe in the later rounds, or even maybe in a second round or something, try to draft a quarterback and maybe try to learn from Geno for a year or two, and then hopefully that guy works out and that's your quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? That would kind of be the route I'm going. Either that or just say fuck Geno and draft a first rounder. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't know who's going to be available at that point in your spot that you have that you're drafting. I think it's like 5 with the Broncos pick. But
for me personally, I would not. Well, they probably have 2 first-round picks, right? So they probably could be a player to get up there. But for me personally, like I'm not signing Geno until a 5-year, 4-year deal like he probably wants.
No,
I would only sign if I could sign him. I would sign him for a 2-year deal, give him like a fully guarantee, whatever, to make him want to stay and actually do it.
Yeah.
But like I want to see more out of him.
No, 100%.
In order for me to commit to him, and then I'd probably still draft someone anyway.
Yeah. No, I think we're on the same page with that for sure.
But if they say if he wants like a 3-year deal minimum, like. I'm telling him, like, see you. Good luck in your future, then.
And this is no disrespect to Geno. Like, I think he can get it done. I mean, we saw it this year. It'd
be the same thing for Daniel Jones as well. I'm not signing you to a 5-year deal. I want to see the production from you 1 more year.
100%.
Because we've seen 4 years of Daniel Jones not doing it. We've seen now 6. Whatever it is, years of Geno not doing it, 7, however long he's been in the NFL now. Like,
the thing with Daniel Jones is like you haven't been doing it, and then all of a sudden Brian Daboll gets here. Is it because Brian Daboll is just scheming everything perfectly? Is it because he's taught you better and you're getting better? Like that's what's tough for me with the Daniel Jones thing. It's like, where did this come from? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Geno. Like, where the fuck did this come from? So it's definitely going to be a tough decision for both teams. Heading into the offseason.
That's just my point. Like I'm not committing long term to any these quarterbacks that I haven't seen too much out of. Same thing with Tua. I'm not gonna commit long term to do it when I've only seen him do it for 1 year.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I need to see a little bit more before I want to commit a lot of money and a lot of years.
But
But
like we said, the Seahawks, they got some pieces. They hit very well in this last draft. They have a couple more picks in this upcoming draft. So it's funny because a lot of like the analysts and I think even us, we thought this team was going to be garbage. You know what I mean? We didn't see them making the playoffs. So they've
I
already
thought this was
exceeded.
gonna be like a rebuilding type team.
Yeah, I thought they were hitting like a full blown rebuild, but they literally did this quick turnaround mini rebuild. Granted, the quarterback situation still got to be addressed, like we mentioned, but it looks like they did a quick turnaround on this team that nobody expected, and it revolves around hitting in this last draft. I feel like that definitely helped them out. But props to them.
Like we said, they got a nice team on offense. They just got to
Yeah.
probably build up a little bit on their defense. Probably, I think
100%.
Jamal Adams. I mean, he was out for the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, so they were missing that.
It was like you get him back, and we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, they got some
we definitely
players,
thought
though.
this team was
Gonna be hot garbage. But props to them. They had a good season. Sucks they had to play 49ers first round, but when you sneak in as the 7th seed, that's typically what happens. 49ers team, Nick, looks scary, but we've seen a couple times this year where they did it against the Chiefs. They got 40 scored on their head, right? We've seen it with just now. They got 23 put up against them by Geno. I'm scared of this team, yes, in the NFC side, but I think they're beatable. You know what I mean? I think if you can come out and score some points and you have a competent defense that can maybe kind of slow them down, because I don't think you're going to stop them on offense. You just got to slow them down a bit. But also, and this is just based off of this weekend and what I've seen, on the NFC side of the ball, I really think it's going to be 49ers or Eagles. Like, I just don't see any other team that can possibly do that. You know what I mean?
The only team I can see making it from would be I have 3 teams out of the NFC is the Giants, the Eagles, or the 49ers. I think the Giants are the underdog that they might be able to beat the Eagles, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, no, and 100% I could see that too, because, again, we talk about it all the time. These division games just end up weird, man. Look at the Ravens-Bengals game last night. Like, they just end up weird. Close games, you play a team for the 3rd time in the season, like, you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, 100% I could see the Giants beating the Eagles. I don't think it's going to happen. Just because when Jalen Hurts played last time they played the Giants in the regular season, they kind of put a stomping on them. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's like tiers on this NFC side of like teams, and I just feel like it's like Eagles, Niners, not in any order, but Eagles, Niners, and then like Giants, Cowboys, Bucks, and then like Vikings. You know what I mean? Like it just. That's kind of the order I see it. But we'll see what happens. That's why I love playoffs, because anything can happen at the end of the day. And all these teams that are in it now are very good teams. So
I think regardless, whatever team comes out of the AFC is winning the whole thing. But
there's a lot of talent on the AFC, dude. Yeah, I think you're.
I think the big
right.
thing to beat the 49ers is you just got to get, if you can probably sack Purdy and get in his head a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think
he might.
I don't think he's dealt with that a
little
lot.
bit.
Yeah, he hasn't dealt with that a whole lot.
Because I feel like he's just been playing like perfect ball, like just getting the ball out in rhythm, not really like feeling pressure type of thing. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. And I think that's why he succeeds so much, because this team is built around these short, quick passes, run after the catch shit. Like, so he's getting the ball out quick, but that's how it's designed to be. Yeah, so like I said, these teams are going to be tough to beat, but I think everybody's beatable at this point in the season. So we'll see what happens. But moving on, we had probably the craziest game of the weekend. The Chargers at the Jaguars. Jaguars started out this game very bad. Trevor Lawrence came out and threw 4 picks.
27-0.
Yeah, 27-0 at one point. Trevor Lawrence had 4 picks before halftime. Came out after halftime.
Well, let me tell you this, Craig, real quick before you finish the like little recap.
Yeah.
Would you imagine a quarterback throwing 4 interceptions in one half and then coming out to outplay the fucking golden boy Justin Herbert.
Never in my
He
life.
still outplayed him in my opinion. And he had 4 turnovers. That's the crazy part in my opinion. He outplayed Justin Herbert and he threw 4 fucking
yeah,
picks.
Trevor Lawrence had a fucking game, dude. Like,
Jesus.
yeah. Look, here,
That's the crazy part.
I'll finish this recap real quick, and then I'll talk about what I want to say because I'll get into it. Yeah, 27-0, 4 picks first half, and then Jaguars came out and just fucking turned it on. I think it's just one of those things that it's tough because if I'm the Chargers and if I'm any team, I'm looking at this Jaguars team, right? And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, what have they done all year, Nick? They've fought, they've clawed back in a lot of their games. They've been underdogs in most of their games. They've been counted out all season. It's kind of that narrative that you don't want to have on a team because it makes them scary and unpredictable, right? You don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen at this point because they've gone through all the adversity at the end of the day. Trevor Lawrence comes out, and here's my thing. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there, and they're like, you can't hype up a guy that threw 4 picks and then came out and played better and yada, yada, yada. He still threw 4 picks at the end of the day. But guess what? You can absolutely hype up a guy that does that. You know why? Because the guy threw 4 picks in the first half and then came out in the second half and won the game in a playoff game in the first time in his career.
Picks, then threw 4 fucking touchdowns.
Yeah, so it's like, how can you not hype the guy up? To have the fucking resiliency, the fucking attitude to not let that affect you and come back and put up a fucking crazy half to fucking beat the Chargers. Like, credit to Trevor Lawrence, credit to Doug Peterson, credit to the Jaguars defense that is low-key kind of slept on, that seems to at some point show up in the second half of the game every game. We've seen it against the Cowboys. We saw it when they played against the Titans. Like, this team is, and I'm not going to run around and say that they're going to fucking beat the Chiefs this week and make it to the Super Bowl and they're going to win it all, because I'm not saying that. But this team's doing some special stuff, and if I were other quarterbacks in the AFC, I would be scared to go up against Trevor Lawrence in the future. When it comes, and I'm talking about next year, the year after, even this year, like, because that dude he's proven why he was the number 1 pick. And if he hasn't proved it by now to you, or not necessarily you, Nick, but like as a viewer of football and you're looking at it, and if he hasn't proved that he was worth the number 1 pick by now to you, then I don't know what to say to you, because I think he's checked all the boxes.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. It was just a wild game in my opinion. Like, it's just so crazy that it was 27-0, and then you let them literally come back and win. Like,
yeah, the Jags should not have won this game.
For all the dick eating, dick riding that I've seen, dick sucking for Justin Herbert, you cannot go out and put up 3 fucking points in a whole half. I do not give a fuck. If he's that good that everyone says he is, there's no way they lose this game. Like, their defense always gets shit on. They got 5 fucking turnovers. Granted, it was also a fumble from special teams, but 4 interceptions and a fumble on the fucking punt, and you can't win this game?
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me.
Should not happen.
Like, you cannot tell me Justin Herbert's a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the league when he loses a game like that.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
but I will never respect someone like that.
100%.
He put up in the biggest game of his career, he put up 1 touchdown. You're telling me that's elite? Come on now. And he had 43 pass attempts. Like, come on. You know what I mean? He didn't even get 300 yards. He got 273. Like, I can't buy into Justin Herbert. I also think this was the last game you see from Brandon Staley as a head coach.
100%.
There's no fucking way you can't not fire this guy. But
I'm
it looks
surprised I
like
didn't
the
get
name Justin Herbert's
notification
on the Phillip Rivers path.
Oh, he's been Phillip Rivers from the get-go. He puts up all these stats. They don't ever make it nowhere. They choke games. I mean, it's literally just a recreate of Phillip Rivers. I think he's better than Phillip Rivers, like talent-wise, but...
Oh, yeah, I can agree with that, but like I said, I think it's just Phillip Rivers, literally 2.0. Like, you ain't going nowhere, you ain't doing fuck all.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that ride Justin Herbert's dick. They love him, and I know he's talented. I'm not taking anything away from that. But if after watching this game and not just looking at the stats saying, oh, Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks. If you physically sat down and watched this whole game, and if after this game you're telling me you'll take Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, something's wrong with you, because I'm taking Trevor Lawrence 10 out of 10 times. Like, I don't know. And I know I'm probably more on a Trevor Lawrence hype train than most, and I have been this whole fucking year and off season. Like, I've always thought he was still fucking great. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm probably a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the Trevor Lawrence take, but I'm sorry.
If you have 2 working eyes and you have an IQ of something, like a football IQ, a little bit at all, and you're like, even if a casual fan, there's no way you can't admit that he got outplayed by Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, absolutely. And
There's
not only
really
to say that he got outplayed, Trevor Lawrence spotted him 4 interceptions and still outplayed him, Nick.
That's my point. Like, the defense stepped up for the Chargers, which has always been what they claim the thorn in their side of the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like, their defense doesn't do shit. They stepped the fuck up. 5 turnovers in this game for them. 5 turnovers, and you still can't fucking win. Like, there's no excuse for that. The Chargers may be losers, the Jags may be the winners, but the biggest winner, in my opinion, is Sean Payton. He now gets to go to a fucking good team.
Yeah, so I mean, and back to the Brandon Staley thing. Like,
Brandon Staley.
I'm surprised I didn't get
job.
a notification that he got fired this morning. Like, the dude's got to be out of there.
He should have been fired after the game.
Oh, absolutely.
He should have even been showing up to his fucking press conference if he even did one. I don't even know, but he shouldn't have even had to do one because he should have been fired.
No, 100%.
I don't know what the fuck the owner, the GM, whatever is thinking. Like, there's no way you can keep this guy around. Unless Justin Herbert loves the fucking guy and he's like vouching for him, but I can't see it. That's the only way that's the only way possible for him to stay around. Is if the quarterback vouches to keep him.
No, I agree.
And I don't know if that's happening, but it should not be happening.
Yeah, no, they need to address that.
You should be hiring fucking Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh and completely figuring it the fuck out.
Yeah, this kind of throws
in my opinion.
This kind of throws a wrinkle into the whole thing because I feel like Sean Payton kind of had like 2 options where you thought he would have worked out, and now it's like
he just started mechanically laughing like a villain.
Yeah,
like
like
a cartoon. Like,
because looking at
this
it,
game and was like, oh my god.
Yeah, looking at it like we said,
you got to know live in LA.
You got to know he's got to get fired after this, right? And if he doesn't, something needs to be addressed with that ownership because holy fuck. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely excited if the Chargers is on the board now.
From the owner, I don't know. But either way, like, I think there's going to be a big change for the Chargers. This team, honestly, if they do fire the coach, it'd be like the Vikings situation, in my opinion. Like, the Vikings were the best team to go to last year. That would be the best team to go to this year, then, if that job does open up.
I think so.
But we'll see.
Hell of a game. It was definitely exciting to watch. I had my fucking... I was literally freaking the fuck out during the whole game just because I'm such a fan of football and I get super excited like a little kid when it comes to football. But I was freaking out during this whole game. You know what's funny, Nick? My parents were upstairs watching this game and I was watching it downstairs and I kept running upstairs because all the shit that was going on. And then now, after this game, my mom... Because, you know, we're all Texans fans around here, right? And the Texans are in fucking shambles and we're like... And I know this sounds bad to even say, but, like, we're contemplating fucking even... Hold on. We're having technical difficulties here. One second. My PlayStation literally just randomly turned off, and that's how me and Nick are talking to each other. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Dude, I don't know. My PlayStation literally just turned off. I was talking, and then all of a sudden my headset turned off, and I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck just happened? And I look over, my PlayStation is beeping. I'm like, what? I don't know. My PlayStation's like a 1934 edition, so it's got a mind of its own at this point. But what I was saying is I don't know what you heard, but I was upstairs and I was freaking out, and I was watching this game, and then my parents were watching it, and we're Texans fans, right? And it's tough to admit,
Yep.
but we're in the
Texans
process
suck.
of the Texans fucking suck. So it's like, are we still Texans fans? And it's not that we're wanting to leave the Texans because they suck. Like, we've been through some shit with the fucking Texans sucking. You know what I mean? But it's just like how that organization is ran has kind of got us like turning away from them. You know what I mean? And my mom, she was like, I just found a new team. I got a new favorite team. After watching this game, she's like, it's the Jags. I'm a new fan of the Jags. She was like, I love fucking Trevor Lawrence. She ended up the next day going and buying a Trevor Lawrence jersey. I'm not even fucking around. So it looks like my mom's a new fan of the Jags now. So I don't know. It was just funny. But it was a crazy game altogether. And I'm excited to see what happens this week. Again, I don't think the Jags fucking win this week because they are playing the Chiefs, and last time they played the Chiefs, they kind of got smoked, but we'll see. But yeah, this was a crazy game. Next we got the Dolphins and the Bills, which I don't know if most of y'all know, but the Dolphins were what, Nick? 14-point underdogs in this game going into it?
Yeah, I think it was like the largest underdogs almost in NFL.
Yeah,
I see
it was like a 13, 14, 13, 14 point.
I think.
Yeah. Dolphins
Like,
on their third
massive
string
underdogs.
quarterback. Yeah, Dolphins on their third string quarterback. Bills dominating people
The
as always.
preseason Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah. Josh Allen, MVP favorite, came out and threw 2 interceptions. Had a fumble.
Had 2 fumbles too.
Two fumbles, yeah.
One he was running. One he was in the pocket.
In the
He got
pocket,
stripped
yeah.
again, but
And
they
it got returned
recovered
for a
both of them.
touchdown.
One went out of bounds, obviously, and the other
Yeah.
one they ended up recovering it.
No.
But-
The one y'all recovered in return for a touchdown.
Oh wait, no, he had 3 fumbles then. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's hard to keep track. You know,
No,
he's a turnover
his
machine.
turnover machine over here.
Sorry, I forgot. I completely forgot about that one. I was like, well,
Yeah, I was like, dude, what? Y'all had it for a touchdown. What do you
because
mean?
there was one where, yeah, it was Bradley Chubb stripped him.
Yeah.
What was Steeler? I forget what his name is. Was Steeler or something like that? He stripped him. That was returned for a touchdown, and then yeah, the Bradley Chubb one. And there's one where he was running and he fumbled it out of bounds.
Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah,
sorry,
I mean,
it's hard to just keep track of all of them. You know.
Josh Allen had a day, and not in a good kind. I mean, I guess and a good kind and a bad kind. And look, here's the thing. I know we just sat here and I hyped up this guy that threw 4 interceptions, right? And then now I'm probably gonna sit here and talk shit about this guy that threw 2 picks and had a fumble or whatever. Like, the difference is the pedestal that people put they put Josh Allen on. They put him on this pedestal of MVP caliber quarterback, can do no wrong, yada yada yada, proceeds to lead the league in interceptions. So it's like, if you're gonna put this dude this high up there and talk about how this is a Super Bowl favorite team, he better come out and not make a single fucking mistake. Whenever he's played in 1 million playoff games already, versus the difference with Trevor Lawrence is that's his first playoff game. He's literally only in his 2nd year still. So it's like I know people are going to try to make that comparison and say, well, you let this guy go when he threw 4 picks, and now you're shitting on this guy. There's a difference, right? Josh Allen's been in the league, 4 or 5 years now? You can't still be being this inconsistent and almost losing to a team, and no offense to you, Nick, and your team, but losing to a team that's on a 3rd-string quarterback, and that 3rd-string quarterback does not look very good at all. Because if we're being honest, the only reason the Dolphins made this a close game is because Josh Allen was fucking choking, right? You know what I mean?
100%.
But with that being said, this turned out to be a very good game. There were some miscues at the end between officiating, coaching, calling plays, quarterback getting plays, whatever it happened to be that kind of turned this game around in like the wrong way for the Dolphins. But I mean, a hell of a fucking fight for the Dolphins. They played great. They had their moments. I think if Tua was in this game, they beat the Bills. And I really wanted them to beat the Bills. Could you imagine being a 14-point underdog with a third-string quarterback and coming out beating the Super Bowl favorites? How excited would you have been, Nick? Tell me.
Oh, I would have fucking loved that. I hate the Bills, man. I can't stand their fan base now. Ever since they basically become like the favorite team to win championships now, like their team is literally acting like they're the Patriots. Like I see Bill fans acting like they've won already like 5 Super Bowls, and it's like you guys haven't done fuck all. And Tony Romo, holy shit, never had this guy in a playoff game ever a fucking again, or at least not on Josh Allen's fucking shit. Cause holy fuck, man, I couldn't hear a word coming out of the guy's mouth. The dick was so far in his ass and in his mouth, man. Holy shit, it was ridiculous.
Oh shit.
Like, I can't stand biased commentary like that. That shit is ridiculous, man. Holy fuck, just call the game as it is. And even that Chargers-Jaguars game was a snooze fest for commentating. Like, it felt like there was a comeback and they weren't even, like, acknowledging the fact there's a fucking comeback.
That was
you know
so
what I mean?
boring. Like, what is that?
That's what I'm saying. And then, like, this game, I'm listening to fucking, it's Josh Allen Allen. It's Michael Jordan Josh Allen. Like, shut the fuck up.
He literally called Josh Allen an alien like 3 times. He called him Michael Jordan.
He literally said this is the champs.
Yeah.
The champs of fucking what? The Bengals are the AFC defending champs. The Super Bowl champs didn't even make the fucking playoffs. What are they the fucking champs of, Tony Romo? Please tell me. The preseason? Like, why are we crowning this team as the fucking champs already? Like, Jesus Christ.
Look, I'm sorry.
That shit was ridiculous.
If Josh Allen plays like he did this weekend against the Bengals,
they ain't gonna be the champs of shit if he plays like that again.
Smoked.
Like, holy fuck, man. I just could not take that shit seriously. Like, there's no way Tony Romo wasn't listening to how the fuck he was talking. Like, and then there was even times, too, where, like, Skylar Thompson, like, threw the ball and he's like, oh, Josh Allen would have made that throw. Like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
We're talking about a first-round pick versus a 7th and a guy that's been in the league versus...
Josh Allen threw the ball away or something like that, and he's like, I like that throwaway. Like, okay? Like, it's, like, what are you... Like, the dick sucking was unfucking fathomable. Like, I felt like I was watching a fucking porn or something, because holy shit, it was crazy, Craig. Like, I've never seen something that bad.
It was...
Like, that was awful to watch.
I just want to say...
Like, I could not stand that shit.
I just want to say, welcome to the world of being an Astros fan and Joe Buck commentating any team that plays against the Astros, because that's all we hear when the fucking World Series is on and Joe Buck's the commentator and we're playing any team, because it is so... Because I know how it is as a fan of your team and your team not getting any recognition and the announcers just want to just talk so highly of this other team they're playing, and it's like, dude, it just gets old because it just pisses you off. Makes you want to watch the game on mute. You know what I mean? Because it's just ridiculous. Because Joe Buck's the same way, dude. When the Astros played the Nationals, oh my god, the dick riding of Juan Soto that Joe Buck did. Like, whenever we played the Dodgers, oh my god, Cody Bellinger is just the best to ever do the game. Yada yada yada. Like, whenever we played the Phillies, oh my god, Bryce Harper and this team is just so crazy. Like, shut up, dude. Like
I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind picking favorites. Like, everyone has a favorite player. There's no doubt about that. I don't mind that shit. It's just literally, like, when you're paid to literally commentate something, you need to be as non-biased as you can to make the game entertaining, as fun, as fair as it can be. The fact that, like, he literally the whole time was, like, comparing this guy to Michael fucking Jordan, who's arguably the GOAT of his respective sport, and you're already comparing him to that, and he hasn't won fucking nothing in this league. Insane.
Yeah.
It was fucking insane.
And not only that, if you want to hype up a player, by all means do it. But you need to solo out a player on the other team and hype them up just as much. You know what I mean? Like, and that just... These guys don't do that, and it's crazy.
This guy literally... my favorite part about the Tony Romo commentary was literally when they came on the second half, and he's like, this is the part where the Bills, the big bad bully Bills, just start running away with this game, and then Josh Allen gets strip sack fumble for a touchdown going the other way. Like,
it just looks stupid,
shut the
Tony.
fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting to the game, great game. I can't even be mad about the result. Like, I'm upset that we lost, but like, you can't even be mad about it when we literally were 14-point underdogs. Like, nobody in the fucking, like, world thought we even had a remote chance and that this was even going to be somewhat fucking close. Like,
Yeah, you got
we played with a third string quarterback. Our defense was literally one of the worst. It was tied for one of the worst in the AFC. Sorry, with the Texans. No offense. So it's like we had no fucking chance of winning this game. And for all the Bill fans that said, "Oh, injuries weren't an excuse," whatever, like when we said that back in week 3, we're playing with a third string quarterback. I do not give a fuck you're missing your starting cornerback. It's completely different than missing your starting quarterback to a fucking corner, a safety, a linebacker. Like, that is literally night and fucking day different, Craig. And if you can't acknowledge that, then you literally need to just take off the mind-boggling goggles you're wearing or whatever. Like, cause holy, it is
100%.
night and day different. Night and day different. It is literally playing like a hockey game without your top fucking scorer. Like, you're not gonna probably win. Like, your best player's not playing, you're not gonna probably win that game.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And every quarterback on every team is pretty much arguably their best player.
Yep. Because
With
you have
that
to
said,
be.
though, great game by the Dolphins defense. They stepped it up. Skylar Thompson, I never want to see him play ever again. That guy needs to sit on the bench. The thing that blows my mind too about Skylar Thompson is it's one thing to be a rookie, right?
Yeah.
But this guy played in college, I think, more years than you're allowed to because he was injured, right? So they give you like an extra, if you're injured, they let you play more. He's 1 year younger than me, Craig. I'm 26. I just turned 26. He's 25. So he's, and arguably at this point in his career, he's already a veteran at this point, or should be, right?
Yeah.
You got to think of it like that. Like, most of these guys coming out, they're 22, 23. He's 5 as a rookie. And he still seemed like he was lost in the fucking game. Like, I understand it's the NFL. It's completely different in college. I get that. But you're telling me this guy doesn't have any ounce of, like...
game sense
like,
or
maturity?
anything?
You know what I mean? Like...
I will say one thing. If we're to, like, sit down and break down Skylar Thompson's play, right? I think my biggest comeback... biggest thing to say about how he played and what he could have done different is, and I'm sure you're going to completely agree with this, but the amount of times he like stepped up into the pocket and then tried to like stay behind the line of scrimmage to find somebody downfield when there's 8 yards in front of him of green grass, run the fucking ball,
driving
dude.
me insane.
Because he's somewhat athletic, right? Like he's kind of a quick guy.
They always bring it up when he plays. They always bring it up. He had so many, like, 20 touchdowns in college rushing or something like that. He had yards in college. They always bring it up. Where the fuck did that go then?
He did not scramble once,
If you were doing that in college, why aren't you doing that in the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to be Lamar Jackson, but he was pretty quick. He's pretty speedy. Like, he's pretty elusive. Like, you can probably run like how Aaron Rodgers used to run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he had so many opportunities to just take the first down or take the 4 or 5 yards.
Dude.
But he just wouldn't. There was one play. I remember where he rolled out to the right. No pressure was on him. He could have easily, everyone down the field, there was like 3 guys down the field in front of him. He could have easily thrown it. He could have thrown it to just get like an easy completion.
Yeah.
But he also could have fucking ran it for probably 30, 50, if not a touchdown. Because there was literally 3 guys down the field that were on the Dolphins, 3 guys on the Bills. They all would have been accounted for, right? Blocking, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you could have easily turned this into a touchdown or a huge fucking run play, and you just
100%.
decided to just keep running, and then you ran out of room and just ran for like 2 yards. It's like, why?
What are we doing?
Like, oh my god, the amount of times he was just like trying to extend the play and make a throw. I'm like, dude, just run it.
Yeah.
I feel like you just overthought it too much, and it's like
100%.
you gotta just take what they're giving you. Like,
100%.
I mean, there's even times too where like the guy was open, but he was almost late to the throw and almost got picked. It's like you're just taking too long. It's like the guy's open, just throw it. Like, oh my, like you can really tell in that game, like that was a rookie playing because it was just
100%.
bad. Like it was bad.
Real quick, we had Nathan in chat. He said Nick seems just a little bit upset that the Dolphins lost, but I'll say real quick, Nathan, he's not upset that the Dolphins lost by any means. It's just more so of how like in reach this game was and how they could have won it, but just like the lack of quarterback play, that's kind of made him a little bit upset, I guess you could say. But no,
I'm not even upset at all. Like I knew we were gonna lose this game. Even with Tua, we probably weren't gonna win this game.
Yeah.
Like that, I can admit it was gonna be a good game with Tua played.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to even be close in this game. I thought there was gonna be a blowout, like 34 to like 10.
Oh, and it started to look that way, but the Dolphins fucking clawed back.
Like we were playing with a third string quarterback. I'm not biased that I can't tell my team's not gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
I'm not delusional. Like
But yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a game. Like, it was a good game to watch for sure.
Definitely disappointed that it was this close and we could have
Yeah.
won, and that sucks, but I'm not delusional in the fact that I thought we were gonna go in here and smack Buffalo in their home stadium and win the game. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Like, that's just fucking insane.
Next game we got the Giants at the Vikings.
Tony Romo pissed me off, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Tony Romo's a bitch. Next we got the Giants at the Vikings. This game probably played out exactly how everyone expected it to, right? Like, kind of a low-key shootout, not really a whole lot of defense being played. Gonna come down kind of to the wire of who has the ball last, yada, yada, yada. I know you kind of got a little rant you want to go on about this game, and I'll let you do that in just a second, Nick. I'll just say real quick, I think what hindered this Vikings team from the get-go, and Nick touched on it last week, and we've kind of touched on it a lot all year, this defense. Yeah, this defense is just so bad. Like, you're bound to lose the games because of it. You can only go 11-0 for so long in close games before eventually you lose one, and that's what happened here. I will say, I think Kirk Cousins played good. He played just about how he always does. I don't think he cost them the game by any means. I will say that last drive where he threw a 3-yard check down when he needed to get 8 yards cost them the game for sure. Granted, I know there was pressure in his face and the routes were kind of downfield and needed to let him develop a little bit. I get that. But, like, roll out the fucking pocket. Try to make something happen, because a 3-yard pass with a dude standing right behind him that's going to tackle him is not the fucking play on 4th and 8. I will say that. But, I mean, a good Vikings team, they need to readdress this defense if they want any chance of being competitive when it comes to this part of the season, the playoffs. And again, on the other side of the ball, no discredit to the Giants because they played fucking great. Like, Saquon was doing it all. Daniel Jones had a fucking day. Brian Daboll, again, like we've said all year, has this team playing to a different caliber. And they could be definitely scary. Like I said earlier, they're kind of that underdog. You don't know what's going to happen. They've kind of been clawing back in some games here and there. And you kind of end up being a little worried about those types of teams, right? Because they got nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to be here. So it's something to look forward to in this next week of playoffs, right? Yeah, I mean, that's all I really got to say about it. Nick, I'll let you go ahead and have the floor.
Told you so.
Hey, no.
No, I'm just trolling you. I'm just trolling.
I was about to say, don't tell me so, because we're
this game
completely agreeant.
Played exactly pretty much how I said it was going to. Vikings defense absolutely sells. Justin Jefferson gets locked up. Had under 50 yards. In my opinion, that's pretty much locked up in today's NFL. And then Saquon Barkley had 2 touchdowns. He had himself a day. He was doing his thing. Didn't get as many yards as I thought he would was gonna get, but he still had a pretty decent day. It was like 60 yards maybe. 53. So he was under 60 with 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty solid day in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Jones really was like the X factor. Like, he stepped up 300 yards, and he also had 78 running. Like,
Dude,
this guy
running
played,
was killing it.
This guy played literally his best game probably of his career.
Yep.
Like, that's just like round of applause for him, because that's how you step up in a game like that. But yeah, I think like I talked about it before. I'll just reiterate the point to you on the podcast. I don't know if I said that word right, but whatever.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, you're gonna definitely have to think about this decision long and hard if you bring him back. And the reason why I say that is, like you said, he didn't cost the game, obviously, except for that throw on 4th down. But even at that point, like, is that really his fault? Like, one play is gonna cost you the game.
Right.
Like, you can't put it all in one play. But at the end of the day, I think you have to think long and hard about Kirk Cousins' future with the Vikings. 1, you're paying him a lot of money. 2, he's getting older. And 3, this team's pretty good. Do you really want to just keep running it back with what you've already seen from Kirk Cousins year in and year out? Big time, prime time games on football, he shits the bed. It's a well-known fact, right?
Yeah.
Playoff games are essentially prime time fucking games. And again, he has not shown up in those games either. So it's like, do you flip the script? Do you go with a rookie? Do you sign someone else? Like, I don't know, but I definitely don't think he's ultimately going to be the answer.
Right.
And like I said to you before, you have a team with Delvin Cook, T.J. Hawkinson, A.J. Osborne, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson. That's solid weapons all around. I would assume almost every quarterback would love to play for this team and could play for this team.
Yep.
I really think they gotta find someone to draft, because there's no way in fuck you gotta believe in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I think
he hasn't ever shown, in my opinion, that he's a quarterback that can win these games.
I think I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I've always thought he was a good quarterback, right? I just don't think he's missing that like X factor, that it factor, that take the game over factor. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna do that.
100%. Like he just doesn't find ways to win games. I don't know what it is. Like, these big games, you just can't win them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And to your thing, like, they got to address this situation. I think since they're paying him so much money, and I want to say he has 1 year left on his contract, I think he plays next year, and then they address the situation. It would be nice if they would get ahead of the situation. You know what I mean? And like you said, try to draft somebody. But yeah, I mean, I think something's got to give. I do think their defense needs a lot of fucking work, first off. But if you got all those weapons on offense, you need to address the quarterback position, because he should be getting it done more than he has been doing already. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to discredit Kirk Cousins, because he's had some crazy comebacks. He's played well in a lot of games. He's also played very bad in a lot of games. But yeah, I mean, I feel you. I agree.
Looking at his contract on Sport Track, I am confused.
He gets a lot of money, Nick.
No, like, it's confusing, because like it says here, it says he's a UFA, but it says in 2024. It says in 2022 he's there, 2023, 2024, 2025, and then 2024 again. Like, I'm confused. I think that's glitch.
Let me see.
But it also says here that his 2024 to 2025 years are void.
Yeah.
So maybe he is a free agent after this year, but it's confusing.
Let me see. Hold on real quick. Nathan in chat said, if we're hyping up Jetta's, hype up Kirk because he's the one. No, I mean, we do hype up Kirk, Nathan. Literally at the beginning of the podcast, at the beginning of the year, we literally hyped him up and said that he was a top 10 quarterback and better than people say. And to your point of defense is putting him in spots where he has to be that guy, you're 100% right. Defense is putting him into bad spots. He's a quarterback that needs that defense. Nathan. Yeah. He needs that defense to where he doesn't have to be
his defense
the
could be
it
dog
guy.
shit, but also at the same time, he has to be a better quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. You've seen it multiple times, Nathan.
From your quarterback position, you want your quarterback to be able to be the X factor when he needs to be. The problem is Kirk Cousins just not being that guy when he needs to be. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing. I just switched it. Oh, update. Duh. Alright, so where's Kirk Cousins' contract?
What website are you on?
Spotrac, the one you use.
Just scroll up.
I found it. I'm here.
I was gonna say, you can literally search for it.
No. So...
You see what I'm saying though on the left there? It says 2024, and it says he's 38. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like glitched out.
I don't know if it's glitched out. It might be something they did with his contract.
But it says he's 38 years old, so it looks like that's in 2026. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so here's
it says
the thing.
2024, 2025 is void. So
yeah,
I'm assuming he's only here for 1 year.
Yeah, I think they voided it for cap space reasons, maybe. So these years aren't here. So he is a restricted free agent or an unrestricted in 2024. I think those years were probably originally on his contract, but I think they voided those years. And then gave him a roster bonus of 10 mil this year, and then he gets a roster bonus of 20 mil next year. So this money he was getting here, I think he's getting this year and next year. and then they just voided these 2 years on his contract is what it is.
Okay.
That's why it shows up there, because those years were technically there. They're voided. Yeah, so he's got 1 whole year and then he's done. And yeah, they've got to move on from him after next year for sure, but he's got a year for $35 million is what it is, dude.
Yeah. Good luck.
He has to be that guy 100%, but when he is in that spot 24/7, and they were still... No, I mean, Nathan, I think you're missing the point here. We're giving the guy credit. I made sure, and I told Nick, I said, we got to give Kirk Cousins credit before the podcast. I told him that because, I mean, what he's done is crazy. But at the same time, in these playoff games, you got to be able to take over as a quarterback. Real quick.
Nathan, look at the playoff games. Aside from the 49ers game, every other game was a one-score fucking game. It's the playoffs. It's going to be close games no matter how good your defense is. Even the 49ers gave up 23 points and they were the best defense. Like, that's just playoff football, Nathan. It's going to be close. I understand they were in one-score games all year and they're 11-0, or 11-1 now, sorry. But, like, at the end of the day, that's just playoff football. It's going to be close games. We're not going to get blowout games. Yeah. Very rarely do you ever see a blowout game in a playoff. Everyone deserves to be there because these are the best teams in the league. And a lot of these games, too, were division games, too.
That's what made it even harder. Seahawks are the first half champs? Okay. I think the first half champ... Oh, you're talking about the first half of the game? I thought he was talking about the first half of the season. I was about to say, no way you're going to say a team that went 9-0 isn't the first half champs of the season, but...
Anyway, getting back to the game, though. The 49ers, or the Giants, sorry. The Giants played a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah.
Hats off to them. I'm excited to see how they play against the Eagles. I think the team, Daboll's got it running good, got it running hot. The Vikings, like I said, they got to figure out their defense, figure out what they do with Kirk Cousins, that whole situation. But I really do like the Giants team, and I think they are the Cinderella story of this postseason. I feel like.
No, 100%. 100%.
But let's move on here to the second game here, the second last game, the actual game last game that's actually been played though.
Yeah. We got the Ravens at the Bengals. Score was 17-24. Bengals ended up getting the W. Again, like I've literally been saying all for the last 2-3 weeks, these division games and playoffs just never play out how you want them to play. This was a very close game. It was a good game. Tyler Huntley played pretty well, besides the fact that he went for a quarterback sneak and went over the top on the quarterback sneak, which is kind of like a rule of thumb you typically don't do unless you're Trevor Lawrence and have a fucking 9-foot arm.
Unless you're fucking in the...
Yeah. But he reached over the top to try to get the ball out there, and then I think it was Wilson. Logan Wilson,
was this the goal line?
Yeah, this is at the goal line. Logan Wilson popped the ball out of his hands, and then I think it was Hubbard recovered it and returned it 98 yards for a touchdown. And that was kind of the game-changing play. Other than that, it was a tied game. Like, the Ravens were about to score to go up 24-17 against the Bengals, and then the Bengals got that 98-yard touchdown on defense. And that was kind of the end of the game after that. Ravens had the ball at the end to try to score. They had some terrible time management. They ran a play with like 1:20 left, and then after that play ran, they huddled up with 1:20 with 2 timeouts still and did not snap the ball again until 30 seconds. So they literally wasted, 50 seconds huddling up to fucking run a play? And I think that kind of put them behind the sticks and kind of put them in a bad situation, which is another reason why we think that Jim Harbaugh could be in the hot seat.
You mean John?
John, dude, same shit. Yeah, John Harbaugh.
Say, real quick, the comments. What's that running back's name?
J.K. Dobbins. I was gonna get into that. Yeah.
He had some pretty outstanding comments there.
Which is something you don't see from a player typically.
Yeah, you really honestly don't see that unless they get traded.
Yeah.
Or they're being traded.
And I'm kind of glad he said something though.
But it was basically along the lines of saying that if Lamar was there, they would have won the game, and if he would have liked to have the ball more in his hands, which I can agree with.
He was also like, he kind of pointed out to the fact that, because they asked him about that Tyler Huntley play, right? And he was like, we have the ball at the 1 yard line. You typically give the ball to your running back at the 1 yard line and give him a couple chances. Because I want to say that play happened on like first or second down. So he was pissed off that he didn't get a chance to get in that end zone. He was like, this is what I do. I get into the end zone like I did before. Like, he was like, give me the ball. Give me a chance at it. But instead that happened. And then, like you said, he went on to say that he'd think they would have won if they had Lamar, which he's probably not wrong, right? I mean, Lamar changes that game for sure, changes that offense. There was a lot of plays where, like, Tyler Huntley scrambled or, like, on their read options that they do, and he was just not outrunning anybody, which I know for a fact Lamar would have easily outran some of those players. Just Tyler Huntley just didn't. But, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad he said something because these coaches need to be held accountable sometimes. Like, they need to realize that they're making these mistakes when they make them, and I feel like the only way for that to happen is if the media fucks with them or even their players messes with them about it. You know what I mean? Like, these coaches need to be held accountable for the mistakes they make just as much as these players are held accountable for the mistakes they make. So I'm kind of glad he spoke up and said something.
At the same time, though, Lamar also posted like a Instagram thing.
Yeah.
A little bit of a cryptic fucking message with it. I don't have it. It's right here. It says when you have something good, you don't play with it. You don't take chances losing it. You don't neglect it. When you have something good, you pour into it. You appreciate it because when you take care of something good, that good thing takes care of you too.
Okay.
No idea what the fuck that means. But in my personal opinion, I think Lamar might be gone.
You think?
I think it's gonna be one of those mutual partings. Like, I feel like in my honest opinion, Lamar probably feels a little bit disrespected. You know what I mean? They didn't pay him this money at first. He bet on himself.
Yep.
He got injured. He's probably gonna want the same amount of money that they were offering him before, but now he's injured. And you know how teams are? They're gonna be like, "Well, you're injured. You've been injured 2 years in a row. Why would I want to pay you when you've been injured 2 years?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he's like, "Well, fuck you. I'm worth that money. I'm MVP." You know what I mean? But it's like, well,
Yeah.
you won MVP how many years ago? Like, it's gonna be a little bit of a back and forth. Maybe they hash it out. Maybe they work it out. But in my opinion, right now, as it seems, I don't think it's gonna work out with Lamar being a Ravens quarterback.
Okay.
And I could see teams like the Jets wanting him, and I could see him wanting maybe a fresh start. And at the same time, we don't know what happens with John Harbaugh. Like, does he stay? Does he go?
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely been some question marks with the way the whole Lamar Jackson thing has gone down. The way they handled the Hollywood Brown situation, right? Like, they haven't given Lamar fucking talent.
Yeah.
Even Hollywood Brown said some things. People are saying he said some stuff about the Ravens organization when he left. So it's like, I don't know. It seems like it's a little bit of a clusterfuck right there.
I will say early reports of what I've heard is the fact that, and again, they said, the Ravens have said they want Lamar as their quarterback. I've heard that they plan on franchising him if a deal doesn't get worked out. I've also heard that Lamar is wanting, this is something we've already known, but Lamar's wanting that fully guaranteed money, kind of like the Watson deal, which we've talked about many of times here. And again, I know those are early reports, and how many times do we see those early reports come out, and then a month later, it's completely opposite of what those early reports said. So, to your point, Nick, I don't know what to think about this situation. I think it would be hard for him to get out of Baltimore without the Ravens getting something.
I'm just saying, it's not impossible.
No, it's not
We've
impossible
seen it
by
multiple
any
times
means.
where, like,
No.
franchise players have been traded. Like, Russell Wilson, no one thought he was going to get traded. Boom, he gets traded.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Deshaun Watson gets traded.
It's not impossible. I'm just saying that it just seems hard because, again, like I'm saying, like, the Ravens are going to want to get something for Lamar. So, yeah, he might end up getting franchise tagged, and then they mutually part ways, and then they trade him wherever he wants to go, right? I could very well see that happening too. I just don't know. I guess my point I'm getting to is I don't have a thought on this at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I can't figure out what's going to happen. I don't have a prediction on what's going to happen because these situations are so hard because you don't know what both sides are thinking. You don't know what they want. This dude sends out some cryptic shit. You got John Harbaugh making shitty fucking mistakes. Like, he might be gone. You know what I mean? I don't know what to think at this point when it comes down to this.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. One to definitely keep an eye on. I'm pretty sure this will be going throughout the all of off season again. It's
For sure.
Where's Lamar going? That's going to be a story running rampant. The last piece of news I just got here on the timeline was that the Dolphins indeed confirmed that Tua will be their starter for 2023.
Yeah, I saw that this
via
weekend
the
as
GM.
Well. Yeah.
Which again is not all that mind blowing.
No, we expected that. They're not going to make
I think the big thing the Dolphins have to do is need to get like a Tyler Heineke, Gardner Minshew, or draft someone in like the third, fourth, or something like that can compete and potentially give Tua a run for his money type of thing, and at least keep him honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if he's
put
not
some
out there
fire
playing,
underneath him.
Yeah, because we need Tua to stay healthy. He had a good year, but if he's not healthy, then it's all for nothing. You know what I mean?
100%.
He's a rising tide on your quarterback, and he's 100%.
Yeah. Getting back to this Raven-Bengals game, last thing I'll say about it real quick. And this shit kind of pisses me off because it's one of those things where it's like, tell me you don't know what goes on in football without telling me you don't know what goes on in football, right? One of those things.
Uh-huh.
I woke up this morning and I was chilling, hanging out before I ate some breakfast or whatever, and these dudes, I'm watching TikToks and there's dudes on there saying, if the Bengals come out and play like that, like they did against the Bills, they're going to get fucking destroyed. You know what I mean? And it's like,
the Bills played worse against a third-string quarterback.
Not only that, do you not know that this is the NFL, first off? Second off, it's the point you made. Do you not know that this is the playoffs? All these teams belong to be here.
Both the Bills and Bengals played division games.
Third off, it's a fucking division game. You know these games end up close, every single time. The Bengals are fucking talented as all get out. They probably have one of the more well-rounded teams in the playoffs right now, in my opinion, right? But it's the Ravens that they've already played twice a year, who play games tough to begin with. So it's like the Bengals didn't necessarily play bad. They just played a division opponent, and that's how these games go. And if you also want to make a comparison, which I don't like to do this because this is 2 separate seasons, yada, 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 but do we not remember that the Bengals went overtime with the Raiders last year in the wild card round and beat them and then proceeded to make the Super Bowl? So you can't sit here and say that the Bengals played like dog shit and they're going to get destroyed against the Bills. And it's like, dude, that's not even the case at all. Pay the fuck attention to what goes on in the National Football League because this is ridiculous. Sorry, just had to get that little rant off my chest because I just hate when dudes come out and clickbait and try to fucking do all that, and it's dude, pay attention, man. You know what goes on.
Hot takes and shit.
Yeah, it's like, come on. I'm all about making some bold predictions. That way, if you're right, you sound a little bit better, and I get it. That's what people do in the NFL, and when you talk football, it's what people do. Even just bullshitting with your homies, you make bold predictions. But to be that fucking stupid and naive to come out and say something like that is just absolutely mind-boggling to me. Sorry. Anyways. Monday night tonight.
Yeah, we got breaking news real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
The Arizona Cardinals just hired their GM.
Okay,
They hired the Titans director of player personnel, Monty Austin-Fort.
Never heard of him.
So that's their new GM. It
Interesting.
says he impressed last year during the circuit, now wins a big job. So his first step will be hiring a new coach. So we'll see how that works out. But
okay, Nick. Even more breaking news. You ready for this?
Okay.
I just got off the phone with Coach Harbaugh, and Jim shared with me the great news that he is going to remain as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. This is fantastic news that I have communicated to our athletic director. So this was the University of Michigan president announces that Jim Harbaugh is staying at the school and not heading to the NFL. Yep.
Oh my god, dude.
It's every year.
Honest with you. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really sick and tired of this Jim Harbaugh's going to the NFL. It's now 2 years in a row. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We ain't doing this no more.
Yeah, fool me 3 times, get the fuck out of here. Like, not happening.
Like we ain't doing this.
No.
If I'm Michigan and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the NFL, I'm saying fuck off, go. Like,
Look,
you know what I mean?
Real quick,
Like,
on this
Jesus,
podcast,
fuck.
just to let y'all know, we will not be sharing any more Jim Harbaugh news for the next coming 4 or 5 years, however long it is we do this. 2 years, whatever, because fuck that shit. It's every
over,
year. It's,
Unless he's literally, unless I see him in the press. I was gonna say unless I see him, it says he's signed. But I already knew what happened with fucking Josh McDaniels. I need to see him on the press conference to
with
make
the team
official.
behind him in the background, with the logo
Like,
behind him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's holding up the jersey, the helmet, whatever the
yeah.
fuck they get the GM to do, the coach or whatever. That's what I need to see because I'm not doing this anymore. This is 2 years in a row now where he fucked around. Where's he going? Is he going here? Is he going there? Fuck off. Done.
Yeah.
Over it.
Jesus, there was one more piece of news that we forgot to mention, or I forgot to mention. So I don't know if y'all been following, but C.J. Stroud had not declared for the NFL draft yet.
Oh yeah,
and he had to do it by today, I think it was, or tomorrow.
It was. I think it was tomorrow. He had like 48 hours left.
So he officially declared for this year's draft. So he will be in the NFL next season. There was a lot of question marks. People were trying to say that he was going to get a big NIL
it was really
deal to
weird.
stay.
Like, it was really weird. Like, is he actually going to stay? Like, that's like, I feel like that'd be like the first time you ever see like a top player stay.
No, 100%.
Like, you know they're going to be drafted like top 5.
Yeah.
And,
I think my thing with it is...
Like, he legitimately actually probably thought about it? Like,
could you stay and potentially get your draft stock to go higher? Sure. But if you don't and your draft stock gets lower, you're ultimately hurting yourself. Your draft stock is higher than it's ever been right now. I mean, you're projected like a top 5 pick.
The only thing staying back would do is hurt you, because what if you get injured? You're now fucked. You're now completely tanking your stock because now no one wants you because you're injured.
What if you look worse?
Or 2, you play fucking worse, like, and you just kill it that way.
Like, I get it.
There's no benefit to staying. There really is not.
There's not.
Like, especially the only benefit to staying is if you suck. Like.
Yeah, the only way you stay
for
your senior year is if you got injured your junior year or you had a bad year your junior year.
Yeah, like your Spencer,
and you want to get
Spencer
better.
Rattler, he's gonna stay, right?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
one of the ones people are talking about, and he's staying because it's like, again, he could build himself up for the next class and be potentially a top pick in that class. But yeah, it's definitely weird. But anyway, let's talk about this last game here.
Cowboys at the Bucks.
The Cowboys at the Bucks. We both picked the Bucks to win. I think Tom Brady gets it done. The Cowboys... This is like a quick breakdown for me because the Cowboys suck. I don't believe in them. I think they're frauds. Their defense has been falling off the rails the last couple of months there. Tom Brady has, for whatever reason, the clutch factor. He's got the X factor that Kirk Cousins desperately fucking needs.
Yeah.
This guy's got probably the most playoff experience in ever, right, as a player.
Ever, yeah.
Because he literally has won the most Super Bowls, right? So yeah, that makes sense. This guy's literally gonna just do what he does, dink and dunk, and just beat you that way, and they're gonna find a way to win because the Cowboys stink, and he's that guy. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely with everything you said. You pretty much took it right off the tip of my tongue. I'm just gonna do a quick breakdown. Cowboys are on the decline. Buccaneers are on the incline. You know what I mean? Like, Buccaneers have looked better in recent weeks. Cowboys have looked worse in recent weeks. Tom Brady has the X factor. We know what he does in the playoffs. Last thing before we move on to predictions for this upcoming week, Buccaneers 7-0 against the Cowboys, by the way. Or not Buccaneers, Tom Brady 7-0 against the Cowboys all time.
That man just don't miss.
Man, just don't miss. That was perfect. All right, so breaking down the 2022 divisional round of the playoffs. We got some bangers.
It's a little fucked up because we don't have the last team in here, but
yeah, since we record these episodes,
we'll talk about it after tonight.
Yeah,
and we'll put our our actual predictions in. But yeah. We'll have to come back to that game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Most likely, though, we're probably both going to just pick the 49ers no matter what because it's the 49ers, but I'll have to at least think about it after I see who makes it.
So, Yeah, since we record these episodes on Monday before the games most of the time,
so tune in next week for the surprise of who we picked.
We're not going to know of who's going to play against the 49ers. But when we get to this game, I'm sure we'll do a quick breakdown of if either team plays the 49ers. Yeah. But starting off Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, we have the hot Jaguars against the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, like I said earlier, I think the Chiefs win this game. But
you going Chiefs or Jags?
I'm gonna go Chiefs, man. It's tough.
Really? I thought you were gonna take the Jags.
I want to so
bad.
bad.
I thought you were gonna just be like ride them out like the Vikings you did.
You know what, Nick? You talked me into it. I'm going fucking Jags, baby. Let's go. We're riding a hot hand.
I was gonna say you can't just not.
No, I mean I've been a fan of them all year.
Jags
like,
fan just not ride them out in the biggest game of their fucking season. Like, come on now.
It's just so hard. It's just that Pat Mahomes.
Oh, I agree. I think the Chiefs win this game, but I would not be surprised if the Jags put on a show again.
100%.
They fight and claw and just keep it close. Maybe it's a one-score game, like a 7-point game, 3-point game, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. But
I'll take the Jags on an upset.
I will not be surprised if the Jags do upset it.
I mean, they're just playing crazy.
I think it's a. I was gonna say as my my little quick breakdown for this game is I think it's gonna be a bad matchup for the Chiefs because you're now coming in this game cold, right? Like you haven't played, and the Jags are fucking as hot as all can be. They're confident as fuck. They're cocky as fuck now. They just beat the Chargers, and they beat them in a way that nobody in the fucking NFL world would have expected. They're paying $16, Craig. I looked at it at halftime. $16 to fucking win.
Jesus.
And I said to my dad, I literally said no bullshit. I said, what are the odds they come back to win this game? As a joke. As a fucking joke, and they won the game. And I was like, that $16 what is looking nice.
Oh,
like,
I bet. Yeah.
But like I said, it's just all momentum on the Jags, no momentum on the Chiefs right now. I feel like the first two drives for the Chiefs on offense is gonna really set the tone because I feel like the Jags come out fucking flying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be surprised to go right down the field, boom, 7 points just like that, and the Chiefs like, whoa, we got punched in the fucking face, like, whoa, you know what I mean? But I trust Mahomes, so we'll see. I'm hoping for it's a good game though.
Look, I know I was a little wishy-washy at first, but like after you listening to you say that and like. And thinking about it genuinely for a second, because I haven't thought about this game a whole lot. But sitting here thinking about it for a second, my thought process is Trevor Lawrence, first playoff game, threw 4 picks. Motherfucker got all the jitters out for 3 years of playoffs. This dude's about to come out like fucking crazy now. You know what I mean? Like, the dude got all the jitters out for his first playoff game. I think he's settled down. He realizes all he's got to do is just keep playing his way and his self, keep making plays. This is going to be a close game. I know some people are looking at this and they're like, oh my God, 14-3 Chiefs against 9-8 Jags. They're going to slaughter the Jags. I think it's possible because the way I think it's possible because it's the Chiefs, but I think the way the Jags are playing and how hot they are, I do think they come out and make this a hell of a competitive game. It's going to be interesting. I really can't wait for it. If the Jags could upset the Chiefs, that would be absolutely crazy. I'm interested to see what like the line is, like how much of an underdog they are, because I'm sure they're an underdog, right? I wonder how much it is. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Jags. I think this Jags defense is kind of slept on. They've been playing better in recent weeks and making plays when they need to make plays, and that's something you got to do against a Kansas City-led Pat Mahomes team. You know what I mean? So I'd kind of keep my eye on that, is how the defense plays, because I think the Jags offense can make the plays when they need to make them, right? We've seen that. It's going to come down to how this Jags defense can play if they can match up well against the Chiefs. Moving on.
Like I said, I just think it's a bad matchup. Like they're coming out hot and you're coming out
100%.
cold. Like
yeah,
it's gonna be I feel like I said, it's gonna be a quick couple scores for the Jags, and the Chiefs are gonna have to hold on. Like
yeah. And it's funny because we kind of have the same scenario coming up in this next game, 7:15 Central Time on Saturday, the night game. We have the Giants at the Eagles.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, these are both the number 1 seeds playing on the same. Yeah.
Giants came out. They fucking won when some people picked them to win, right? But some people also said the Vikings were the favorites. They came out. They won that game. They played well. And then they're going up against the Eagles, who not only are the Eagles off a bye, right? And this is kind of leads
it's
into
another division game, man. Division game. You're off the bye. They came out feeling good.
This kind of leads into my recap, my breakdown of this game. So the Eagles, right? They're off the bye. Number one. Number two, Jalen Hurts been kind of dealing with the injury. We still don't know if he's fully healthy from it. I don't expect that he is. Last game he played, they didn't look the greatest. Not only that, the 3 games before that without Jalen Hurts, the Eagles didn't look the greatest. I think, and it hurts me to say, but this could be one of these cases to where the Eagles started off so hot and then they slow down at the end. I think if the Eagles can come out and play like they did in the mid-season of the year, where they were literally blowing dudes out 20 points, 30 points, I'm not saying that's going to happen in this game, but if they can play like that, then I think they win this game. But again, like we've been saying, another division game, who knows what happens at this point. I'm going to take the Eagles, though, but I think it's going to be another good game. And it worries me that it is a division game. But what sucks for the Eagles is they were either going to play the Giants or the Cowboys. So they're preparing for a division game either way.
I like your optimism, but your point saying that the Eagles are going to play like how they played midseason.
No. I didn't say that they're going to play like that. I said they need to come out and play like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't focus on the wording. That's what you said. They need to play like the midseason, right?
Yeah.
You focus on that point. Except it's not the midseason anymore. It's not the fucking playoffs, Craig.
No, 100%.
He ain't 100%. I'll tell you that right now. And he ain't going to be 100%. He's going to be shot up with whatever the drug is that they give him, painkillers. And he's going to have to go out there and just deal with it. With that in mind, I don't think it really matters anyway. It's going to be a good game. Again, these are division games. You can go left, you can go right, it doesn't matter. It could be a fucking upside down, spin around in your chair. You have no idea what the hell can happen. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
It is what it is. These are the hardest games to predict because the whole goal is you build your team to beat your teams in the division.
Yep.
That's literally how you design your teams.
And that's why they all match up so well and they turn out to be close games because the teams are built that way.
But I have no idea. I feel like the Eagles should win this game.
Look, the reason I picked the Eagles is because I have them as the favorites for the Super Bowl in the NFC, in my eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm riding with them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. Like, they should be. They can be. It's just a matter of if they get it done.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, though, I really like this Giants team, man. And I feel like I'm going to ride it out until they die out.
I like it.
I like Dable. I like the energy he brings. Daniel Jones has been playing his heart out. Saquon Barkley's pretty decent. He's getting done. I feel like it's going to be a really hard matchup when you're playing the Eagles, the number 1 seed, but somehow, some way, if the Giants can knock off the Vikings, knock off the Eagles, they would they'd be playing the 49ers most likely.
Yeah.
And they knock off the 49ers, that'd be one of the most insane Super Bowl runs I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
Like I told my dad, if somehow the Dolphins would have knocked off the Bills, would have to play the Chiefs probably, and then the 49ers or whoever came out of it, like that'd be also insane.
Yeah.
But like, even the Giants, they could make a little history.
I'm thinking the same thing for the Jags too. Chargers, Chiefs, and then Bengals or Bills. Oh my God.
But I don't know. I really like this Giants team, Craig. Like I really like their defense. I think they're underrated. I think they can step up. They can maybe make Jalen Hurts make a mistake or two.
Yep.
And that might be all she wrote for that game. Like
maybe.
This is going to be a big game for Jalen Hurts.
I'm not going to say much on it because I'm the biggest Jalen Hurts fan. So I'm going to sound completely biased. So I'm going to try not to
I'm just going to say,
talk
like,
about
last playoffs, he was shit. No way to avert it.
Absolutely.
He was shit. He panicked. He ran around. He looked lost. Had no idea what he was doing. This is gonna be a huge game for him.
Yep.
And I am gonna be watching my eyes like a hawk on Jalen Hurts to see what he does, because it's gonna be interesting to see. Was he really an MVP type player, or was he a fraud? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I get what you're trying to say with that, but you can't. I think you could still not be an MVP player and not be a fraud at the same time. You know what I mean? I don't know if fraud's technically the right word, but I do get what you're trying to say.
No, you understand what I'm saying. I'm
Um,
trolling a little bit, but
no, I know. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. It's all going to come down to, can Jalen Hurts get that image out of his head of getting smoked by the Bucks last year? You know what I mean? Can he come out and be as cool as a cucumber as he's been all year? I think he can. I do think this Eagles team is special. But again, like we've said, it's division games. You never fucking know with these games. It's so hard to predict. But I do say I do find it funny though, because it seems like at this point, you're riding with the Giants till they die out. I'm riding with the Jags till they die out. So, yeah, I mean, to your point though, like, I did see something that is, and I'm not one to like kind of try to listen to these weird stats, because you never know how they end up, right? And it's all random at the end of the day. But I did see this thing, and somebody was like, in recent years in the playoffs, the Giants have either won it all or won nothing. And they showed like the last 5 or 6 times they were in the playoffs, and it was either they lose first round or they go on and win the Super Bowl. Well, they didn't lose first round. So if you're going based off that, then they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. So, I mean, again,
down in mind, what's the quote? History always repeats itself.
You typically like to say that, but those random occurrences, you never know. So, we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game.
Random.
Yeah.
My last point I'll make for this game is that the Giants have absolutely nothing to lose at this point.
Yep.
They just beat the Vikings. Well, you could say people might not have expected to win.
A lot of people did.
Maybe you could say it's 60-40, 50-50
Yeah.
that they would have beat the Vikings. But this game's definitely going to lead more towards 70-30,
70-30,
like
100%.
80-20. Like, they're going to be the underdogs. But like I said, the pressure's all on the Eagles. It's the same thing when with the Dolphins against the Bills. The pressure's all on Josh Allen, and he fucking crumbled. He did not look great. So we'll have to see how Jalen Hurts rises up to that pressure. Does he fold? Does he fight it? Does he go through it? Does he what's he gonna come out and look like? Because that to me is the biggest thing. Like, this team was the number 1 seed. You have all eyes looking on how you're gonna perform. Same with Mahomes and the Chiefs. They have all eyes on them now. Because at the end of the day, these were the 2 teams that got to sit out, watch everyone else play, and you're now the team that everyone wants to beat and everyone wants to play, right?
Yep.
And like the Giants, they're gonna be coming out loose. Like, fuck it, we got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like, no one expects us to be here. And the Eagles, well, you got all the pressure in the fucking world to play. Like, good luck.
It's gonna be a good game for sure. Before we break down these Sunday games real quick, we had another comment in chat.
Yeah, apparently, that's trying to make me laugh.
Yeah, apparently Stephen A. Smith told Dak's dad that his son is going to throw 2 picks to his face on live television. That's funny as fuck. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that prediction's probably not wrong, to be honest.
It's not wrong, yeah.
But at the same time, he is a fucking savage.
Yeah, that is a savage for saying that.
Saying that right to his fucking face. Yeah. Jesus
oh my god,
Christ.
I love that for him. Yeah, moving on what are these times? 2 p.m.? That's kind of okay. Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have the Bengals at the Bills, which this kind of sucks. It's a touchy subject, but I feel like this game should have been a coin toss for who gets home field advantage, or it should have been played on a neutral site, right? Because if the Bengals beat the Bills, they would be the home team right now, right? And then, of course, if the Bills beat the Bengals, they would still be home team, or the Bills would be home team. So it kind of sucks that game didn't get played, because now it's turning into the Bills.
It should have been a coin flip.
Yeah, it should have been a coin flip. Yeah, you know what I mean? So the Bengals
at least then it's like you you're 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
The Bengals kind of got screwed in that situation, and that's why they kind of were upset about how this all played out. Again, a little touchy subject. It's tough to kind of make too big of a stink about it because all you want at that point is just to hope DeMar was okay. But this game should have been a coin flip for who gets home field or something. You know what I mean? Or a neutral site or something, because now they're playing each other, and Bills have home field advantage, which the Bills Mafia is pretty crazy when it comes to home field. But
Bills Mafia can suck dick.
yeah, I hear you. Breaking down this game, I'm going to take the Bengals. It's what we've talked about a lot on this podcast, Nick. Who has that X factor, whatever you want to call it, and Joey B has it. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, but you know how we talk about how like the Cowboys play down to their opponents? Well, Joe Burrow and the Bengals play up to their opponents. When they play good teams, they play even better. And they find ways to win, it seems like, every time. So, and that's why I think, again, I think the Bengals are definitely a favorite when it comes to the AFC side, in my opinion. I'm really thinking it's going to be, again, it's all, you never know what can happen. But my prediction at the beginning of the playoffs was Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl, and that's still what I'm leaning towards. But I'm gonna take the Bengals here. I just don't trust Josh Allen after this season, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go exactly with the same pick. I'm picking the Bengals. The big thing for me is Josh Allen. Like we talked about it already at the beginning here. Just too many turnovers for my liking, and maybe he got out of his system all one game. I don't know, but he's been so bipolar. One week he's Josh Allen that you like to see, and the next thing you know, it's the Josh Allen that you don't want to see, where it's boneheaded interceptions and fumbles, all that. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they're hungry to go back to that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like they want to go back.
They want redemption.
They want to try and fix it, make it right. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Like we already talked about both these teams already.
Yeah, I will say real quick, like on the Josh Allen thing, the biggest thing with Josh Allen and why they were favorites for like the Super Bowl, I feel like, is because when Josh Allen got to the playoffs, he didn't make mistakes, right? I mean, we saw at the beginning of the game he had one interception in the playoffs in the games he's played, and he's played quite a few, like 4 or 5, something like that. And he's only had one interception. So, in everybody's eyes and our eyes, it was always, well, Josh Allen exceeds even more in the playoffs and doesn't make mistakes and takes the game over and does all this. But it's like,
the big thing is everyone thought he was out of this fucking turnover.
Yeah, we've seen it now to where he still makes mistakes in the playoffs just as much as he does the regular season. And this year he's made even more mistakes that, like you said, we thought he was out of that stage of making all these boneheaded turnovers, but he's still there. I think that's just the type of quarterback he is. He's going to make these crazy plays, but he's also going to make these stupid plays. Which is not really... You want consistency from the quarterback position. Like, I would almost rather you be a little bit less talented and not as good, but not turn the ball over. You know what I'm saying? Like, versus Josh Allen's crazy athletic, makes these crazy plays, but turns the ball over a lot. But yeah, I mean, we talked about these teams a lot already. Moving on at the Sunday night game, which kind of sucks because I feel like the later game should be the Bengals-Bills, but I don't know where they schedule these games and how they schedule them and how they decide who plays what time, yada, 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 but I definitely think that the Bengals-Bills should have been like a prime
It's a little
time.
weird that both number 1 seeds are on
Saturday.
a Saturday.
Yeah, like what is that?
Like they should have split them up.
Yeah.
The Chiefs one should have been with the on the other one, or the Eagles should have been on the other one.
Yeah.
Vice versa,
I think they do that because the number 1 seed plays the lower seed, so they think it's going to be less of a game. But in my eyes, you would want the number 1 seed playing.
The number 1 seed, in my
time.
opinion, should be the late team.
Yeah,
like,
the late
games.
100%.
But
oh well.
it is what it is. Whatever.
Yeah, so the later game on Sunday, we're going to have the 49ers at home against either the Cowboys or the Bucks. So I'll real quick, Nick, if we're saying we both picked the Bucks, right? So we'll start with that. If we're saying it's the Bucks at the 49ers, what is your breakdown?
49ers smoke them.
49ers smoke them. Yeah, I think Tom Brady can do a lot. I just don't think he can do that much. I would take the 49ers in that same scenario. If we're saying it's the Cowboys at the 49ers, are we still saying the same thing?
I think they can. I think the 49ers smoke wherever they play.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's the 49ers don't actually have a challenge in the NFC side until they play the conference game.
Yeah.
Like, I think they just coast through these first 2 games, and that's all there is to say about it. Like, not sure what else to say. Like, the 49ers defense looks nice. They make plays. Brock Purdy, unless you can get to Brock Purdy, then that might be your only chance. And for maybe for the Cowboys, I favored them more if their defense actually shows up to maybe stop Brock Purdy a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to go with against the number 1 defense on the other side of the field. Do you trust Dak Prescott to get that done? Not really. Do you trust Tom Brady to get that done? Maybe, maybe not. Depends.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say. Like, I want to see them play in the playoffs, like, both these teams play in the playoffs first, and then go from there. Like, if Tom Brady comes out and puts up, like, an elite performance, like, he looks like Tom Brady again,
then you can maybe lean towards the Bucs.
Yeah, maybe I can lean more towards him. If Dak Prescott and the Cowboys find a way to win, maybe I can give them their defense a chance if their defense shows up, but the defense, like we said, hasn't been playing very good at all.
No,
at the end of the day, though, I really think no matter who comes out, like Cowboys or the Bucs, like their defense is gonna have to help them win this game because you need to find a way to either shut them down a little bit, slow them down a little bit, or at least like make Brock Purdy play like Skylar Thompson, like a rookie, make him look like a rookie. Because otherwise, you're gonna be in for a fucking long night.
Yep. I will say one thing. At the end of the day, I don't want to see the Niners in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know what it is, but I know I've talked about it before, how, like, I don't like watching the Packers play because it's always boring. I don't know what it is about the Packers. I have that same vibe when it comes to the 49ers. Like, I don't get as involved in their games. I don't really like watching them play a whole lot. I don't know why, but I would rather see any other team in the Super Bowl from the NFC side than the Niners. Like, I know they're crazy good. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I just don't want to see them in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, we're not really like making a prediction yet on this game. We'll wait till after.
I want to see the other team play. Like, I see the 49ers play. They look like they should look. How do the Cowboys, 100%. How do the Bucs look? Did they come out and they play like a fucking 3-3 game? Like, then it's nobody can move the ball type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, I need to see them in action before I can definitely make a decision.
We'll have our predictions next episode, but yeah, that'll wrap up this. What?
Oh my god! I was just looking. It says this is actually this might be a tough time to be a Texans fan. This is not looking good for you guys.
What happened?
Quarterback selected 2nd overall in the past 10 years. Have you seen that?
I have not.
2021, Zach Wilson. 2017, Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh no.
2016, Carson Wentz.
Oh no.
2015, Marcus Mariota.
Oh no.
2012, RG3.
Oh
the
no.
Texans currently hold the 2nd overall pick and are expected to take a quarterback. Can they find a way to break that streak? Because holy fucking shit, that is horrendous.
We're trading up to number 1 right now.
Out of all those quarterbacks, only 2 of them were viable, I would say, and that was RG3 until he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then Carson Wentz again before he got hurt.
That's
like
scary.
that is.
And then not only that, Nick,
rough.
to think about the potential quarterback we would draft has a high probability of getting hurt in this league.
Oh, Bryce Young.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man. Oh god.
CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, whoever it is, Will Levis, they gotta break that curse.
Look, I don't care if we get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, just please do not give me Will Levis. This is another Zach Wilson that came out of fucking nowhere that is getting hyped up. I don't want nothing to do with Will Levis.
Somebody said the easy solution is just to trade out of that pick. I think so.
That's what I'm saying. Who cares if you're taking the same guy at 1 or 2? Just get out of the 2nd spot.
Like, oh my god.
Or just don't even draft a quarterback. Fuck. All right, yeah. So
I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
That
that's a
crazy.
bad list.
Yeah, that's a very bad list. So that's going to wrap up our predictions for the divisional playoffs. Like I said, we'll update it like on our end. Y'all won't know until next episode who we predicted.
We'll be fair though, obviously. Like we'll walk in after today. Like
we
I'll text
have no
Craig,
reason
we'll
to fucking
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Like I said, we're both probably leaning towards picking the Niners either way, but I'm with Nick. We want to see how these teams come out and play. If they come out and play like differently than we think they are. If they can at least
like change my mind a little bit, like make it like, oh, okay, maybe they're not gonna get smoked. Maybe they have a chance, but most likely, like you said, we're probably gonna pick the 49ers.
Yeah.
But
no, 100%.
I at least want to see something before I just pick it.
I agree. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap up episode 23 of the podcast. I love how I always start episodes out and like this is gonna be a quick one, and then an hour and a half we're in and we're still going. But it's just funny how that always happens. But yeah, I mean, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your predictions in the comments. We're always down to hear some other thoughts. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting week of football. We got 4 games, divisional round. We got 3 more weekends of football left, Nick. Right? We got this week, next week, and then a week off, and then Super Bowl. So 3 more weekends of football, and that'll do it. And then we'll be getting into some off-season stuff, which
you don't like the Pro Bowl
is going to be exciting. No, I'm excited for the Pro Bowl. It's going to be they're doing a new thing. It's like a flag football game, right?
Yeah.
It might be all right. We'll see. But yeah,
I always said to my dad, it'd be fun to see a old players be captains and pick like young players, and then like they play quarterback or something, like, you know what I mean?
Like play out of position.
Not out of position, but like say you have like Dan Marino, he comes down, just plays flag football quarterback, and then you have for your team, you know what I mean? And then you can sub them out after like the first quarter type of thing.
Yeah.
Move on from
that would be
I just
cool.
feel like that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like see Kelvin Johnson back and playing football again, or Michael Vick.
That would be fire.
Like things like that. Like
yeah. No, I like that.
Like even seeing like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning play, like if they were to play a little bit, like I feel like that'd be fun.
No, 100%.
Because again, it's flag football. Like
that too, and what that does is that gets newer people that aren't as in depth with like the history of football. It teaches them some history of football. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, you see some legends and you're like, oh, like that's fucking Joe Montana. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know
especially like younger people that are like 15, 18 that didn't get to see any of these guys
play. Yeah, people like fucking Nathan.
Yeah.
You're like, who the fuck is that guy?
So yeah, I mean that would be a cool aspect. I like that. You should email ESPN or NFL or whoever and get that going, Nick. I like it. I hate myself. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. That's gonna wrap up the episode though. We appreciate y'all hanging out and listening, checking us out. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know we suck. But yeah, let's have a good week of football. Hope y'all have a good week and a good weekend. And we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.